Hey guys, we're out here in the woods and we're getting ready to get down and dirty, do some hack and squirt, killing off some undesirable species of trees, and I want to talk about that real quick. So you can see I'm standing in. Actually, this is a stand of oaks, or supposed to be a stand of oaks. It was planted about 10-12 years ago, and the oaks are doing great. However, there's a lot of junk getting in here, some hackberries, a lot of box elder in here, some maples, and they're crowding out the oaks pretty heavily. So I'm going to come in here and kill out everything except for the oaks, except the stuff that was planted in here and we intended to be in here. So long story short, it's a lot of work. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of stems per acre, and I'm going to be killing hundreds of stems per acre. I don't know how far I'll get, but I'm going to talk about that entire process. And when people see this, man, a lot of people say, oh man, look, you don't want to mess with that thicket. You're going to mess that thicket up. This is not a thicket. I mean, I can't see very far. Even when I get down all the way to the ground, I mean, I can see about 30, 40 yards. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's some cover, but what it's not is food. And if you look, these limbs that are down low, this thing has a canopy 20 feet in the air. So these limbs down low that are within reach of the deer, they're dry and dead. There's nothing, there's no food there anymore. These are dead, all right? So everything that's within reach of a deer is gone. It started trimming itself out basically. And what we want to do is get rid of a bunch of this junk so we can get another flush of growth underneath, allow these oaks to mature, and then we'll get some woody browse down low. There'll be some native grasses and forbs and stuff coming here and that kind of thing, and the habitat will just be much, much better. We'll be able to support more deer. This will hold more deer and feed more deer. Hack and squirt's pretty simple, and it's kind of fun actually. All you need is a hatchet, some herbicide, and a squirt bottle. I want to add to that some dye. So what I'm using is Triclopyr. That is Garlon is the name brand. This is some generic Tractor Supply brand. However, there's lots of different herbicides you can use. You can use glyphosate, Arsenal, things like that. I'm using Triclopyr because that's what was available, and it does a really good job on box elder, which is the bulk of what I've got in here. Depending on what species you're trying to kill, you may want to do a little research and figure out what works best. Some trees require literally a cocktail of different chemicals to get it killed. So we're going to mix our Triclopyr 50-50 with water. I got the water bottle already filled up with 500 milliliters of water. Before I came out, I tested this to see how many milliliters per squeeze of the trigger, because I want to treat every 3 inches of tree. I want 1 milliliter of a 50-50 Triclopyr and water mixture. So what I learned is if I pull this trigger real hard and fast, it's almost a milliliter. If I pull it slow and steady, which is probably what I'm gonna have to do to keep from the chemical from spilling out of the hack, it's only about a half a milliliter. So I'm gonna need 2 squirts per hack, and 1 hack for every 3 inches of diameter. So a 3-inch and under tree gets 1 hack, a 3 to 6 inch tree gets 2 hacks, and so forth and so forth. We probably won't do anything over 6 inches in this little thicket here. So I'm gonna get her mixed up and get to work. So we've got 1,000 milliliters of mixture in this bottle. That's enough to kill 1,000 trees, or maybe 1,000 3-inch and below trees, I guess I should say. We're gonna give ourselves a little shot of this dye just to make it easy to see which trees we have treated and which ones we have not. And I'm probably gonna get it everywhere. And of course my bottle's leaking. I'll get a rag and clean that up and we'll get to work. Let's talk just briefly about timing, when we want to do this hack and squirt. So you can do this any time of the year except when there's heavy sap flow, early spring, on into mid-spring. So it's late winter time. It's actually Super Bowl Sunday. I'm boycotting the Super Bowl and out here hacking and squirting, killing trees rather than supporting the NFL. So let's talk about the trees we want to save. This is one of the oak trees that I want to save. identifying these trees in the wintertime is the hard part because there's no leaves on there. So you need to be able to identify them by the limbs, the terminal buds, by the bark, that kind of thing. And just be careful that you're not killing what you want to save. So I can identify these oak trees, and pretty much everything else in here is going to get killed. So we're going to get to work and start killing some trees. So you don't want to do this with trees that are much under an inch in diameter. This one right here is kind of borderline. But one whack, and then we're going to squirt. Let me get the water cleared out here. So now you can see that blue. I can see it really good. So here's a little bigger tree. One whack, 2 squirts. Another one, get this one here. Simple as that. That's all there is to it. We got about 1,000 more trees to do. So this is a pretty big one, a lot bigger than most I've been killing, but this is a box elder, and what I'm running into is a lot of these are pumping out a lot of sap. So what it's doing is pushing my herbicide out with that sap. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See if this one will start running sap. Yeah, here it comes. See the sap dripping out. You can see it just pouring down the tree there. And what it does, it just washes my herbicide out. My concern is I'm wasting my time trying to kill these box elders right now. I probably need to come back in here when they're fully leafed out and try to kill them then. What sucks about that is it's hot. Ticks are out way worse. The good thing is I'll get to see whether or not I had any luck, and I did free up a lot of trees back there that were crowded out by other species. So I've gone through about 300 milliliters of spray. That's most trees I had to spray twice, so that's about 150 trees that I have sprayed. Some I sprayed 4 or 5 times. These big box elders, I sprayed 4 or 5 times because they were pushing so much out, hoping to get just enough. But not all the trees did it. So I'm hopeful. I still got a pretty good kill. I got a couple other spots I want to hit. What I've seen is the sycamores seem to be taking it up really good. So I got another spot that's got quite a few sycamores and some other junk species. I'm going to go hit them real quick. And that's pretty much it, man. Get out, squirt bottle, wear some gloves, and kill some trees, create some habitat.